Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the Nootropic Reviewer, and during this video I'm going to talk about ADHD. We're going to talk about different nootropics that you can consider using to help you with ADHD. I was actually on ADHD meds in the past. I used Concerta, I used Vyvanse, and I used Ritalin for an extended period of time. It helped me make a lot of money, helped me deal with various projects, but it had horrible side effects. And I want you to know sincerely, you may not have to use some of these stronger things for ADHD because there are various nootropics out there that will help to boost your focus, will help you with your motivation and your energy levels. And one of the first ones that I've been using for many years is L-Tyrosine. L-Tyrosine is a nootropic supplement. It's really good for fatigue, it's good for energy levels, good for stress management. It's actually an amino acid that's found in chicken breast, turkey. It's found in egg whites as well in abundance, but it really is more effective when you take it by itself. So the way that I'm typically using L-Tyrosine for focus is taking 750 milligrams up to 1 gram just once. The pro with L-Tyrosine is that it's pretty effective. You'll notice it working, but the con is that it's pretty short lasting in that what happens is you take L-Tyrosine, you'll feel a boost of focus for 90 minutes. Some people actually do get about 2 hours of good focused energy when they're taking it. And there actually is some research that has concluded when you take L-Tyrosine every single day, it does result in you afterwards having an increased level of focus, but that has not been my experience anyway. And what L-Tyrosine does specifically is it boosts dopamine levels. And we know that dopamine being a very important neurotransmitter, especially when it comes to rewards, comes to boosting motivation, comes to productivity, being sharp, having good word recall, which is what we want because ADHD, like meds specifically, I mean, they do all that and more. When I was using Concerta, it's like I didn't really even need to sleep and I was like motivated all the time, but then I had horrible withdrawals with it. L-Tyrosine, it's not been my experience that I've gotten any withdrawals from it. The way that I'm typically using it is pre-workout. That works really well for me. L-Tyrosine along with caffeine, I can get a great workout. You may want to consider that too. So all these like little things help. I think that the workout is really going to be instrumental for your attention overall during the day, and if you take some L-Tyrosine prior to your workout, you'll be more likely to have a really good workout and have great focus, whether it's cardio or lifting, and then you're going to have a great day there afterwards. And the next nootropic supplement that I want to talk about for ADHD specifically is Rhodiola Rosea, which this is a herbal one, so it is still naturally occurring, which very often makes people a bit more comfortable taking it, given that it's naturally occurring. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the safest thing in the world, but Rhodiola Rosea has been used for many, many years. It's been actually used in Asia as a medicinal supplement for stress management, for fatigue. The way that I like taking Rhodiola Rosea is once to twice a day, but I wouldn't use it first thing in the morning because I'm waking up feeling energetic, I'm not feeling fatigued, but Rhodiola Rosea has really good reviews for people that work long days. If you're working, 8, 10, 12 plus hours, you may want to consider using Rhodiola Rosea once or twice a day during like the middle of your work shift to give you some extra energy. But with respect to ADHD, it does significantly boost focus as well. If you look at this study over here, what we are looking at is natural product derived treatments for ADHD, and it looked at how safe they were and how effective they were. They took a number of different herbal nootropics and they were often suggested to individuals to take daily for the treatment of ADHD. Looking at Rhodiola Rosea specifically, we can see that they said, in view of these results, Rhodiola Rosea may have therapeutical potential for treating anxiety disorders and depression. No adverse side effects were reported. And then further, they said that Rhodiola Rosea may actually enable you to uptake choline more efficiently. Choline, of course, is a great nutrient that we need for overall brain health, for memory, and for most cognitive processes. These properties of Rhodiola demonstrate its potential as an ADHD treatment. Yet, unfortunately, we don't have that much research stating just how effective this is as something that may help with ADHD, but one thing for certain, it definitely boosts attention, and it does it in a very calming way. I would say that's what makes it different than L-Tyrosine. L-Tyrosine, I think of like, you get energy, you get focus, but when I think about Rhodiola Rosea, I think about like, it boosts attention, it definitely fights off stress, but it won't necessarily make you like more motivated than the state that you were in prior. Unless you were motivated to begin with, and then you just kind of accumulated some stress and some bad experiences, then you can take like Rhodiola Rosea, and then you're like closer to peak performance state, and you can go on and be productive because you're the most effective version of yourself. But the way that one may want to start taking Rhodiola Rosea is by taking 500 milligrams, sometimes 300 milligrams. Try taking that once a day. You may like it more in the morning if you're somebody that just has an issue with grogginess or focus in the morning. morning and you need to get important work done. Otherwise, I think the afternoon is good because it's going to help you maintain a good level of focus. But don't take it like as soon as you wake up. I would always recommend you wait at least 30 minutes, better 60 minutes after waking up before using any nootropics. And there's a lot of reasons for that, which I've discussed in this video here, how I stay motivated all day long. You'll likely find that informative. And the next nootropic to help you better handle ADHD would be lion's mane. And lion's mane helps you be calmer, helps you be more present. It really helps with anxiety. So I think who lion's mane may be a little bit more appropriate for is somebody that not only has issues with attention and ADHD, but also generally like with mood, and very often that happens. And lion's mane, it's great in the sense of like you take it for a couple of weeks and then it's kind of like saturating your system. You can feel it working all the time. As a matter of fact, it doesn't really matter like when during the day you take it. For most people, like me myself, I don't notice anything when I first take it, but after I continue to use it, for me it was about a week's time, I'm just always walking around in a better baseline mood. I'm feeling better. I don't have as much social anxiety. I'm more willing to talk to people. Plus, I'm like genuinely curious to know about them, or genuinely more curious about everything. So for those of you who are students and you're not finding whatever you're studying interesting by any means, then go consider taking some lion's mane, because you may be a little bit more interested, sometimes even fascinated in the reading material. And then as a result, you're just going to be more likely to retain it in your memory when you need it come exam time, and then you're hopefully going to get a good passing mark. It doesn't really boost focus, but what it does is it reduces anxiety, it reduces distractible kind of behavior, which allows you to, as a result, just be more focused. You're simply more clear-minded, you can get more done. And here is a great study which draws out that same conclusion. And what they did was they took 30 female participants, and here was the interesting part. They gave them cookies. Some of the females got lion's mane cookies, some of the females had just normal cookies without lion's mane, and what the research clearly showed was that there was a boost in concentration as well as decreased irritability and decreased distractibility. Very powerful stuff. And that as well has been my experience with lion's mane. It's interesting in that it doesn't necessarily make you like too calm to be unproductive. It just helps you to detach from the outcome. You don't feel attached. You're willing to fail forward, which makes it good for productivity. However, it doesn't really boost energy levels, and that's really important in this whole spectrum of nootropics that will help with ADHD and productivity. So for most individuals, what I would recommend they do is, if they do take lion's mane, using it alongside caffeine or alpha GPC or even L-Tyrosine is often very effective. And the manner in which you can consider doing that is by taking 500 milligrams of lion's mane along with 50 milligrams of caffeine or 100 milligrams of caffeine. Caffeine seems to work better in smaller amounts if you're using it for productivity and for focus. With lion's mane, if you were to take it by itself, and that's a good way to get started with it, I would recommend you just take one capsule a day, which is going to be 500 milligrams in most cases. My favorite form of lion's mane is the 8-to-1 dual extract that you can find on Nootropics Depot. And I've honestly used so many different forms of lion's mane from so many different brands. For me, I always did have a positive experience, and like I noticed my anxiety was significantly lower, but the 8-to-1 extract is really good. And there's definitely other nootropics you can take, things like Subroxy. Of course, we haven't touched the racetams like Paracetam or Oxyracetam being great for boosting focus. And then there's some of those nootropics that you may need on like emergency cases when you need to be focused and have high levels of attention the whole day. And that's where phenylparacetam or even something like modafinil may be handy. However, these three nootropics that I mentioned, L-Tyrosine, Rhodiola, Rosea, and lion's mane, I see as fairly safe, and I see in most cases okay to take every single day without the need for frequent breaks from them. So the way that I would cycle off of these nootropics is something like 2 months on followed by 2 weeks off, and then you could repeat. But with respect to nootropic stacks and different stacks you can take, would be L-Tyrosine, caffeine, and Noopept. And I also really enjoy taking Rhodiola Rosea along with Bacopa Monnieri. Bacopa Monnieri being great at calming you down, also helps with your memory. And L-Tyrosine is just great to stack with a number of nootropics. L-Tyrosine with Oxyracetam, L-Tyrosine with alpha GPC. And the great news is that I've talked about these stacks in detail, as well as other nootropic stacks that have helped me with productivity, even making more money or helping with stress in this video over here. 10 simple nootropic stacks that changed my life. You'll likely find that video informative. And be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. If you'd like to chat with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon or send me a direct message on Instagram. And be sure to join our Discord server where we have a 24/7 chat room and we're answering questions in a time-sensitive fashion. I thank you for your interest in nootropics, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.